So here we will study the formation of our Indian Constitution. So how our Indian Constitution was formed back that time from the basic the structure the skeleton from where we have taken from where we have get the idea to construct the Indian Constitution from where the drafting committee means form the constitution means write the constitution how they form actually. So we will discuss that thing in the formation of our Indian constitution system. So first we have to understand what is constitution. So what is constitution? So it is actually set of rules set of rules. So constitution are some set of rules to govern a state, to govern to govern a state. So now we have to understand what is a state. So to govern a state, we apply some set of rules. These are the constitution. So a state. Now a state is now categorized into three branch. So first is legislative branch, legislative, executive, then executive branch, come executive branch, and at the last the judiciary branch, judiciary. Now the legislative part actually form the law, make the law. So here the law is made law is made, and executive means they execute the law or implement the law, implement the law that is formed by the legislative part, implement the law, they apply the law or defend the law, defend the law, judiciary. So now the legislative part mainly comprised of the parliament, and the executive part mainly comprised of the ministers. So the parliament now comprised of the Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, and the president. And the minister actually we define the prime minister of India, then council of minister guided by the prime minister. So they are the executive part. The president also, president, then the vice president. So these are the executive, the union executive of our government, the parliament, the legislative part, they make the law. The executive part, they actually execute the law or carry out the law. Judiciary are the courts like High Court, Supreme Court, High Court, Supreme Court. So this I define the state, what we mean by a state. So this is all about the state. Now we will see the basic framework or actually the timeline of our the framework and the timeline of our Indian and the Indian Constituent Assembly, how is it was made back in that time. So first we will discuss about the regulatory act. Then from regulatory act we will discuss the Pitt's Indian Act, and after the Pitt's Indian Act we will go to the Charters Act, Then from Charters Act we will go to Indian Indian Council Act. Then from Indian Council Act we will go to Government of India Act. Now we have to keep in mind the year-wise representation of this act. So Regulatory Act was mainly in 1773. Then Peace India Act was in 1784. Charter Act was there in 1793. Then we have to add 20 years. Then 1813, 1833, 1853. Charters Act. Indian Council Act 1909. Then the Government of India Act we will have 1958. Sorry, 1858. Then 1919. Then 1935. So this is the basic timeline of our constituent, how our constituent assembly was formed back that time. Means the constituent assembly was the initial means the initiation of our constitution of India, how it was formed. So first the constituent assembly of India was formed in 1946. So now we will discuss about each act. So in short, so first the Regulatory Act. Regulatory Act that was in 1773. So first we will discuss that here the first Supreme Court was formed. Supreme Court was established actually in where? In Calcutta. First Supreme Court was formed in this Regulatory Act, and here the Parliament was completely taken over by the East India Company. The parliamentary control of East India Company. Then we will go to the Charter Act. Charters Act 1793 and 1813. So here what happened? The monopoly of East India Company start. Means here, the monopoly means the monopoly business means at that time only the East India Company was able to business. At that time they were able to make profit. There was a monopoly of this East India Company, and here the monopoly of the after 20 years the monopoly of East India Company stopped. East India Company stopped in Charters Act. Then again we have Charters Act 1833. So in 1833 what happened? In 1833 we have the governor of Bengal was changed into governor of India, and the first governor of India was, can you name? Okay, he was Lord William Bentinck. So he was the first governor of India, and here the first Christian missionary were able to spread their religion in this Charters Act 1833. And there in 1853 The first establishment, actually introduction of our civil service exam was done. Civil service exam. So this was all about regulatory act and charter act. Now we will move. Now we will move to Government of India Act 1858. So now we will move to Government of India Act 1858. So where what happened? The governor of India was changed to viceroy. And the first viceroy was Lord Canning. Okay, and the our India was fully controlled of British Crown. So this was Government of India Act 1858, and then comes the Indian Council Act 1909. So here it is also called the Morley Minto reform, where we will get the communal electorate system. Means a communal electoral system means the Muslims and the Hindus have separate election system. So they were separated, Hindu and Muslims. So this is called the communal electorate system. So now we will go to Government of India Act. Government of India Act 1990. So this is also called the Montague Claims for reform. So it is very important because here bicameralism was discussed for the first time. Bicameralism means there will be two houses in the parliament, upper house and lower house, like Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Bicameralism was discussed first time, and diarchy also. Diarchy means the division of center and state, center or union and state. So Government India Act 1990. So after that came the Government of India 1935 Act, then Cripps Mission, then Cabinet Mission Plan. From Cabinet Mission Plan we have Independence Act of India 1947. So after independence of India, the drafting committee was formed. Then constitution of our nation was written. So we will discuss now the cabinet mission. So cabinet mission was done. Cabinet mission Plan 1946. So in cabinet mission plan we will have three names. We have to remember three names. So first will be Stafford Cripps, then A.V. Alexander, then we have the Lawrence, the Patrick Lawrence. So this cabinet mission plan was mainly formed to convert the British control into the Indian leadership, to convert the British control to Indian leadership. So for this act was passed. So now here the Constituent Assembly was formed for the first time. Constituent Assembly from now it was formed by elected members and nominated members. 296 were elected and 93 were nominated from the princely state. So total we have 389 members in the Constituent Assembly. So first meeting was there, in the Constituent Assembly in 9 December 1946. So here the senior most member was Danand Sinha was the senior most member, and he was appointed as the first president of the Constituent Assembly. Appointed. Remember, he was appointed, not elected. So he was appointed the first president of Constituent Assembly. He was appointed as the first president of Constituent Assembly in first meeting. So I have discussed about the first meeting. Then in the second meeting, that was held in 11 December 1946. Like, see the timeline. We have discussed about the first meeting in 9 December, then second meeting in 11 December, like one day later. So in the second meeting, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as president of Constituent Assembly. Means now he was elected, not appointed. So officially he was the first president of Constituent Assembly. But if question comes, then we have to write the Sachinanand Sinha was the first president, though he was appointed. Again the third meeting was held in 13 December 1946. So here Dr. Jawaharlal Nehru introduced first time the objective resolution. So he introduced first time the objective resolution. Here he means said about the basic framework of the Indian Constitution, there how this will go in future. So he said the India should be state, sovereign, and union of state would be there, union of states, and there will be a written constitution in India, written constitution in India. So likewise, he gave many of the objective resolution, and it was passed in 22nd January 1947. So after that, we will have the Independence Act 1947. So after that, we have independence of Independence Act of India 1947. So where on 3rd June 1947, Mountbatten plan was there. So Lord Mountbatten was the last viceroy of India, and in his plan, Mountbatten plan, he discussed about mainly of two topics. So first was the British India, that was under British colony, British crown. British India will be divided into two separate domain, Pakistan and India. So they will be separated into two different independent domain, and they will work independently, means they will have independent legislation, they will have independent constituent assembly, they will have separate legislation. So this was the first, and the second was on 15 August 1947. The British control will get over. So 15 August 1947 is what we celebrated as the Independence Day. So India got independence in 15 August 1947. So after the independence, we have to write our constitution. So after that, the drafting committee was formed. So in 29 August, so in 15 August we get independent, and in 29 August 1947, drafting committee was formed. Drafting committee was formed. Whose chairman was Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar sir. So in 29 August, drafting committee was means to write the constitution, to draft the constitution. So after that, it took about 2 years and 11 months to draft our constitution. So it was completed back in 26 November 1949. So in 26 November 1949, our constitution was finished, means Constitution of India was finished drafting. It was finished drafting, and after that, in 26 January 1950, the constitution came into force, means the constitution was applied, came to force. So this is what 26 January we celebrate as a Republic Day of India. So remember, in 26 January 1949, the constitution was finished, means it was written, and 26 January 1950 means after 2 months the constitution come into force. So what we celebrate as Republic Day of India. So this was all about the formation of our Indian constitution. So after the Indian constitution, the former Indian constitution have like uh, three articles, parts, and schedules. So the former Indian constitution uh, have have 380 86 wait sorry 395 articles, parts was 20 part, and schedule were 8. Later uh, like further amendment they were increased. So later we will discuss about the structure and the source of our Indian constitution, means from which country we take the source of Indian constitution. So later class we will study the source and structure of Indian constitution. So from which country we take, means we get the idea. So later we will discuss.